Hello, everyone. It is Frazelma Lynn with Parenting911. So we want to welcome you to our citywide event. This is our monthly citywide Parenting911 event. So our parents are here, even some children are here with us, and our guests are here. So now at this point, we're going to get started. I like to get started with just thanking the city of Opelika for partnering with Parenting 911 and allowing us to present these free events once a month to all of the residents who are parents in our city. See, that's progressive thinking. So I want to most definitely thank Mayor Fuller and all the council members. Now, as we get started, I trust me, we're working a whole lot of technology, so you all just be patient with us, all right? Um, I am Frazelma Lynn, as I said earlier, the author, coach, speaker, master teacher, all of that. I am a retired teacher, school administrator, and I am a cancer survivor and thriver. So my husband and I have 6 adult children, 9 grandchildren. Trust me, we have children all around, and we've had almost all the experiences. All right. Now, yeah, this is different, isn't it? So these are just some of the photos to let you know some of the places where Parenting 911 has shown up. We've been all around. We do schools, we do churches, we do corporate, all types of events. My saying is wherever parents are, that's where I need to be. All right. So the venue, the event does not matter with me. One thing about parenting, it is universal. It is universal. All right. Now, I am going to let you all know we have some amazing guests today. We're talking about parenting tips, parenting strategies, and parenting hacks, just the easy way to get wherever we're trying to go. All right. So I will introduce our guests one at a time. They'll come up here and join me. We have Miss Wendy Overstreet, and she is master at pre-K. Trust me, I've worked with her for years before retiring. My goodness, master at pre-K. And then we have Mrs. Tiffany Lewis, and she is master at elementary and toddler because she has some at home. So she is master about how to help with discipline tips and consequences. All right. Then we have Mrs. Janrika Rogers from South Carolina, who is going to join us virtually. And when it gets to the secondary level, so we're talking about middle school and up, those preteen teenagers, the ones that we go, oh, yeah, that part. So she is going to help us with the tips and strategies and hacks when it comes to our teens. All right. And then we have Mr. Willie Willis. And because he has a special needs background, he's going to help us because we tend to think. I said we, I'm not judging anybody. I said we tend to think that if a child has a diagnosis, that means they can't learn. And that is the worst thing we can ever think about children when they have a diagnosis. That just means parents have to step up double time. All right. So we're going to get started with that. Now, yeah, it jumped several slides. All right. So now most of us want to put shortcuts over the process. But that's not the way we need to go. We want the shortcuts because we say things like, I don't have time. Let me just do it for you. Oh my gosh, is it really going to take you that long? Do you not know how I want this done? We get frustrated. We have a short fuse. Come on, parents now. We have it gets really short sometimes, right? However, we've got to go back to understand the process needs to go over the shortcuts, because the process is what really builds character. The shortcuts don't build anybody's character. All they do is calm your frustration down, but they don't build any character. And we're building character in our children. Therefore, we have to make sure we go back to the process. All right. Now, some parents will say, well, I don't even know what the process is. That's where the Parenting 911 Coach comes in. All right. Because we make sure you understand the process. All right. Any questions, comments? All right. We'll keep moving right along. Now, discipline. That's one of those words we cringe. We hear it and go, oh, that kind of look right there. I saw like, yeah. So understand, discipline is not what we think it is. All right. And we do this often. So let me do it again. What is discipline to you? Anybody? Say it again. Corner time. Putting up like time out. Corner time. Gotcha. Correction. 180. You better pivot. She said correction 180. Anyone? Oh, listen to her. Consistent redirecting. Who in here thought that discipline was punishment? I see hands going up. So many parents think that discipline and punishment are hand in hand, the same thing. Guess what? Hello? It is not. Well, I would play with the technology, but since I have it working, I better leave it alone. I started to pull my face up big and go, hello? Okay, I better leave that alone. All right. So discipline is not punishment. It is not the same thing. Discipline is actually teaching. I heard you over there, Mr. Willis. It is teaching by modeling. That means you have to do something and not just the child. Come on now. And then you're modeling and practicing with them under your supervision. Guess what? That's a process. That's a whole system right there. A process. Most of us have the time, but we don't want to take the time to get that done. What we don't understand, if you do that on the front end, you won't have as much trouble on the back end. Come on. So parents, we want to make it easier on ourselves, but guess what? We make it harder and harder and harder and harder because we want all the hacks, all the tips. How can I do it faster and faster? Shortcuts, exactly. Come on, but the shortcuts don't help build a character. All right, it's teaching by modeling and practicing under supervision, and we really don't like that supervision word. All right, now here's my latest book. You Need a Butt Whooping. I put it in there because it does not teach you how to spank your children. What it's teaching you are the 3 steps we just talked about that transform discipline in your home with your children. And it takes you deeply in every step. It breaks it all down, gives you examples, gives you research, all of that in the book. Okay, so if you scan that QR code, it's going to take you to Amazon where you can get the book. All right. Now, one of the parents that I'm coaching, this is what she said. She has the book. She's reading it. She says, after I read your book, You Need a Butt Whooping, my emotions were so stirred up because almost instantly I received a clearer understanding of the word discipline. As I read your divinely inspired book, greater revelation came to help me. When we have our coaching sessions, this particular parent, she actually has the book already laid out when I get there. And because she's using it step by step. I've not had a parent to do that before. She's using that thing as a study guide, step by step, because she said she thought she understood discipline. But now that her son is a teenager, she realized maybe she really didn't understand discipline. And she's going back, walking through the steps and understanding it so much more. So this is this needs to be one of your favorite words at home. Come on, I doubled it just in case, all right? Consistency. Consistency has to be one of your favorite words at your house. And I'm not talking about consistency of the children. I'm talking about consistency of mama and daddy and grandparents. Grandparents, we are not left out. No, because see, if we don't fall in with the rules and routines of the household, guess what? We're disrupting everything. We're giving double standards to the children. So I'm going to stop right here. Let me tell you. I had to tell my own mother, okay, now, if you continue to teach our child to go against our rules, then she can't spend as much time at your house. You know what our rules are, what our standards are. You know, all we're asking you to do is get on the same page with us so that the child is not confused. All right. So grandparents, yeah, I know some of you, if you're listening and watching, you're looking at me crazy, but stop confusing the children, trying to get your point across, or, want to give them everything that they don't need. Let's talk about that they don't need, so that, the children can come running to you. Come on. This is about us raising them the way they need to be raised. I hope this is picking that up. She said grandparents think they know more than the parents, but not all the time. You are exactly right. And grandparents, go ahead.
We let them get away with a lot of stuff. We don't want them to have to go through whatever we may have done.
That's right. That's right.
So we let them get away with it. So we think we know more than the parent, and I know the parent is just really trying to do.
That's right. Just because we allow them to get away with things doesn't mean we're really helping. Honestly, we're hurting. We're hurting. All right. So consistency. Don't start it and stop it and think about it later on and try it again and stop it. And no, be consistent. All right. All right. Yes, ma'am.
So, and I'm sorry.
Just speak loud. I'm good. Yes, ma'am.
So one of the things that as I was looking at discipline, I realized that it is a transformative word. All the words that we're doing is transformative. When you give a child discipline, they become a disciplined child.
That's right.
When you're consistent, they become a consistent child.
Absolutely.
So parents, I tell all of my parents at my job that whatever you're doing is going to transform or come into the child in what you want to see in the child.
Yes.
When you put discipline, then you realize
Absolutely.
your child becomes disciplined.
Absolutely.
And then your child becomes consistent. So where there's consistency, there comes a consistent child.
That's right.
When there's discipline in the home, there becomes a disciplined child.
Ooh.
And so those
Yes,
are the
ma'am.
things that I like. These words, I love them because and just parents just have to know that they're transformative. Like
that's right.
They start in one state, but then they change their state as it goes into your child. And so those are things. Now this is just hitting home because I'm a parent of a child with special needs. He's 21. And this child and his grandmother and the family, terrible when it comes to letting him do what he wants to do. And then so he's like, I'm going with my grandma.
Wow.
And me as taking the shortcut, it's like, bye. You know.
Stop it.
And so, it hits both ways because I'm like, bye. Because I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Right.
But then because he do know that I'm mom and that when he gets back with me, no matter what grandma said or did, you still got to follow and go with my rules. So he's smart enough. He has autism and epilepsy, but he's smart enough to know I'm going with my grandma because my mom mean.
Oh my gosh.
Because I have to work and do different time with my mom, and that I tell my mom all the time, you just messed up my children. Like, you really did. Like, you messed them up. And so when my kids get a little, they be saying, I'm gonna go grandma. They just thinking this love, just okay, y'all can go to grandma tonight. But then they also know when they get back home
what the rules are at home, the expectations are at home.
And even though they're a lot different.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I tell my mom the other night at the bus, you just wouldn't get what I said. Like, why'd you do that? I tell you what, you go down there and get it.
That's right. That's right.
And so I just was thinking about those words.
Yes.
How they transform our kids.
That's right. And grandparents are one of our special guests wants to add in something too. But grandparents do need to realize we all need to be on the same playing field. We all need to be. All right. So let's see how the technology works and if I can add her to the stage. All right. Hold on. Ah, there she is. All right. Mrs. Rogers, she wants to add in. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, just let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, we hear you. Wonderful.
Right. So what she was saying was very interesting. When you discipline a child, they become disciplined children. Well, that resonated with me because the 5 children that I have, between the oldest and the youngest, are 10 years. And so I call them the 3 bigs because they were, I guess the youngest of the 3 was like 8, 6 or 7 or something like that when the last 2 were born. And so now they'll say, Mama, you were so much harder on us than you are on them. But because they were disciplined children, they helped manage the discipline for the younger ones. And so I don't have to do the same things. Discipline does happen in stages. I was much harder on the older ones. I was younger, far away from home, but then I had help with the older ones because I had instilled discipline in them. It got transferred in their actions and their behaviors with their little siblings. And so I did very little discipline, and now I don't do much at all. They have disciplined each other. So
yes.
it is a process, and it takes so many different turns. I like what she said.
I like that. Thank you so much, ma'am. So yeah, but you have to still go back to the process at the beginning. And you were so right with the fact that it's all transformative. And if you discipline from the beginning, it's going to stick. It's going to stick. So you got to remember that part. All right. All right. Let's see if we can go back. Oh, I'm doing really well with all this technology today. All right. So let's remember, it's not about the shortcuts. Okay. The shortcuts don't build the character. The shortcuts don't teach the discipline. All right. It has to be about the process. Now, once you get the process, then you can go to the shortcuts later on because they already know the actual process. Okay. But don't skip the process trying to go and do something. Yeah, real quick. Like, I don't care. Hurry, go on down there with your grandma. Okay. Yeah, we got it. All right. So we're going to tell a story. And so I'm going to say, you don't have to hold it up long. I'm good. I just wanted a little bit on there. Here is the story. When I was about 4, I like telling this story, so I'll try to make it a little shorter. When I was about 4, let me see if I can pull me up without messing up. Oh, I got a thumbs up. When I was about 4, we were visiting my grandparents here in Alabama. Now, at this point of my life, I was being raised in Indiana. So we were here, and my grandparents had a screen door. And so I asked my mom, may I go outside? She said yes. Now, just like some of you are sitting comfortably in your chair and your arms kind of folded or whatever, she was comfortable in a chair just like that. I said, Mama, may I go outside? And she said, yes. I'm 4. I head out that door as fast as I could, running at the highest speed I possibly. I have no idea why. No idea, because I already knew I shouldn't have been running in the house. I'm surprised she didn't call my name then, but I guess I moved too fast. You know. I opened that door. I hit it with all my force, running outside that door, slam, boom. Oh, my Lord. My mother just called my name. I just froze. Oh, Lord. I turned around and I'm coming back to see what's getting ready to happen now. She said, open the door and step back inside. She never moved out of her chair. She never changed the position. Her arms still folded, never changed it. She said, but don't let the door slam. I stepped back in the house and I eased the door closed. Then she said, now step back on the porch, but don't let the door slam. I stepped back on the porch and I eased that door too. She said, she hadn't moved now. She had not moved. She didn't raise her voice. No cussing, no none of that. Not then anyway. It was nice and calm, okay? She said, step back in the house. Don't let the door slam. And I didn't let it slam. I eased it closed. She said, step back. Now, we did this about 10 times. What was she doing? That was discipline. She was teaching me. She never moved out of her seat. She didn't get frustrated, aggravated, agitated. She wasn't impulsive, none of that. Well, when she finished, she looked at me. She said, now, are you ready to go outside? I said, yes, ma'am. Now, I'm 4. I didn't run. But still, when I hit that door, I pushed it without even thinking about it. I'm right there at it, and I pushed it, and I didn't ease it. I just pushed it open, and it slammed, and I froze. She didn't even have to call my name. Transformative, all right? Discipline is. You are so right. Because this time, when that door slammed, she didn't have to say anything to me. I knew what I needed to do to practice what she was just teaching me. So I opened the door and stepped in and didn't let it slam. And I opened the door and stepped back on the porch and didn't let it slam. And I kept going through the process 6, 7, 8 times, I don't know. And then I looked at her for her approval, because remember, you have to practice under supervision. So I'm looking to see if this is enough, if she's satisfied. She says, are you ready now? And I said, yes, ma'am. Well, guess what? Finally, 3rd time is a charm, maybe. But finally, I realized, don't slam this door. And I eased myself out that door and I let it close quietly. And I was able to go and play. But the thing is, look at how many times I had to practice. See, we want children to practice one time and we'll say things like, didn't I tell you already? Or don't you know better? And my question, even in the book, is, do they? Do they know better? Because did you take the time to really practice and help them know better? All right. Okay. So that's one of the stories about discipline that I remember so vaguely. And well, you know, then I didn't know that's what she was teaching. I just thought she was being mean. Who said that? I just thought she was being mean. I'm like, oh, mama, you're so mean. That's what I thought. But she was honestly disciplining me, teaching me discipline. All right. All right. So supervision. Let's talk about that for just a minute. What does it look like? Anybody want to throw their hat in? What is it? And the reason I asked the question that way, what does it look like, is because we say these words, but they look different to each one of us.
I think it basically means that the more experienced person is observing the less experienced person. I just try to break down that word, like super is above.
Okay.
Vision. I have more experience than you,
And
so I know how it's supposed to be.
In case you all couldn't hear, she has such a soft, sweet voice. Unlike me, I know. She says the more experienced person is observing than the less experienced person. All right. Anything else about what that looks like to you? Because let me tell you what, while you all are thinking, let me throw mine in the hat. dropping your children off at the game and going on about your business with nobody watching them is not supervision. Not having any idea where your children are, that is not supervision. Okay? So if that's what it looks like to you, we're going to change that in just a moment. All right? Having a person in charge. I like that. Okay. All right.
Keyword is person.
Person.
It's not that they have their phone and you can track their
Ooh,
phone.
man. That's
It's a person that they are.
absolutely. Tracking is good, but it is secondary.
So is there an age limit to
Grown. I didn't know how you wanted me to answer that. Grown. Because let me tell you, 17-year-olds get in a whole lot of trouble. Do you know why? Nobody's supervising, nobody's watching. Where's the person? All right, yes, ma'am. Because they think they're grown. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Superman got that supervision.
Oh.
So a lot of times I think we need to take experience. I would say, well, I grew up too. I've been there before too. So take it for instance, my 2-year-old child, he's almost 2.
Almost 2.
We know he's gonna try to get in the cupcakes. We don't need the cupcakes where they exist. If I haven't disciplined him, because he's so young.
Speak loud. I don't want them to miss this.
If I haven't disciplined him on not to touch what's on the counter.
Oh.
Right? These cupcakes are new. They haven't been open. I say don't touch them, but he's interested. He wants cupcakes. He's only 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes with levels to that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I need to be aware. I need to have supervision of what could.
Ooh.
I need to have vision of what could happen.
That's very good.
There's been awareness around this and already aware of the experiences. Super.
Oh, yeah, you just took that. Okay, yes, ma'am. We just move right on. So here is my definition then. She took that. Be present. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about eyes, ears, and knowing, thinking what's going on. Because sometimes we are there, but we're really not present. All right. Now, I remember our oldest daughter practicing piano. I'm in the kitchen cooking and she's playing. I can hear her. I can't see her, but I can hear her. And because I know enough about music, when she hit the wrong note, I'll say, stop, go back, redo that again. She used to say, Mama, how do you know? Like, you're not even in here. I'm like, baby, I am listening. I hear it. So when we supervise, we have to be present enough that we're paying close attention. All right. It's different from monitor. A monitor is, like this thing up above my head. All it's doing is showing you. It's not going to assist me. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to warn me, nothing. So sometimes we're just monitoring, but we need to learn to supervise. That means be ready to step in. Be ready to help. Be ready to discipline. Be ready to show them. Be ready. All right? Until you're satisfied with the results. Okay? So I said this at a meeting and a grandmother at the end came up and I used the example of making a bed. And I said, teach them how to make the bed. She came up, she said, but what if they don't make it like you want? I said, ma'am, keep practicing. Show them how you want it every time. And then repeat, rinse and repeat until they get it like you want it. She said, oh, I hadn't thought about that. This was a grandmother. Okay. So we have to, well, it was already spoken. We act like the grandparents know everything, but we forget. And who said we were right in everything from the beginning? I can say, I apologize. I'm sorry. I dropped the ball on that. I didn't realize. Okay. We have to be able to do that. Yes, ma'am. You had a comment, question?
Just going to say, and the brain also keeps patterns, like you said. If you have to keep doing it and then it becomes, it's just like, and I work with kids. They can tell me what, if somebody else comes in the building, they know what they're supposed to be doing, when they're supposed to be
Absolutely.
doing it. And if we deviate off the path, because we always talk about pivot, and I had to be careful when training others because we're always like, oh, you pivoting is great. It is to a certain extent.
That's right.
You know, you can't just always pivot because then it messes up the child.
Mhm.
So we as adults have to make ourselves readily available to have the plan and the process.
That's
and
right.
Trust the process so that it's so good that we don't have to pivot at every moment, because while pivoting is good for us as parents, it messes up the child.
That's right.
And so shortcuts. And you stand on me because I am a pivoting person. Like, I will pivot like no other. But then I realized that the kid mentioned, I didn't get my snack. I know, but I didn't tell them what we were doing.
Right.
Now it's like they're stressing me out because they're at my door wanting snacks, and I'm like, no, we're doing this. So we have to be able to communicate effectively the why behind the what. Because and stop saying because I said so.
Oh no.
No, I need to know why.
Okay.
No, I need to know why you telling me what you
I like that statement. Well, let's go to the because I said so statement, because what we say that sometimes because we really don't have an answer. Come on now, adults. We say that sometimes because we have no idea. Sometimes we provoke the situation. We turn a little small something into something so huge just because our emotions kind of got the best of us right then. And we don't want to bring that thing back down. But we need to learn how to turn the volume down. If we can't turn the volume down, how do we expect them to do it? Back to discipline. Back to the and you used a word that's in some of my PowerPoint. I'm thinking, now, where was she when I created the PowerPoint? Yeah. Okay, here we go again. All right. Supervision is like this, a baton. If your eyes are not there, you should have spoken with someone. Don't just say, oh, well, the coach will see after them. Oh, well, their teachers at the school. Oh, well, it's security guards. No, you talk to somebody that you believe you can trust. Too much is happening with our children. A whole lot of it is happening because we're not supervising. We have no idea. All right, we have no idea. So you make sure that you put your child in the hands of someone that you trust. All right. I almost looked right over there. I realized she had a camera taking a picture. All right. Okay, I'm live. No, don't be trying to get me off guard here. All right. Also, all right. So let's go back to discipline. Remember, it is teaching by modeling and practicing under your supervision. Let me also say this, back to, we hear it, we've heard it. Parents are a child's first teacher. Guess what? They really are. A lot of parents now will say, I don't know how to teach. You don't have to know how to teach, because everything you do is a teachable moment. The child is watching, the child is learning, the child will repeat it. All right? Yeah, I'm saying that for the world. Because if you feel like profanity is your language, and that's what the child hears when the child gets to school, what do you think they're going to use? That's right, they're going to be cussing. That's right. And guess where they got it from? So be very careful. Everything we do as parents, our children are learning it. Let me tell you what, they don't stop learning what you do and how you do it when they get grown. They still see you. All right. So you've got to be careful what you're doing at all times. You use the word plan. That's when I thought about, why does she keep pulling up my slides? I'm not ready for that yet. So we have to have a plan. All right, parents, we have to have a plan. Most of us parent just from our bootstraps, have no idea, no plan, no idea. Just another day. I don't know what we're going to do. And just like your children at work, if they know the plan, they know what to expect, right? Our children at home need that. So we must have some family rules. If you don't have any, Yeah, go to the book. I already told you, it's in there. Everywhere there are rules, then there need to be some at home. We need routines. When do we do what? How long are we going to do this? How do we transition from one thing into the next thing? A lot of children in school have trouble with transitioning because nobody at home is teaching them how. Come on now. We've got to be for real because these are our children. Their lives hang in the balance. Not only theirs, what about their children? So if we don't teach them, then we're also hurting the next generation as well. And the generation after that. You want me to keep going? And the generation after that. Okay. All right. Signals. It's great to have a little signal because all of us, we get wound up and we forget. My mother's signal was she cleared her throat 3 times. The world would stop. I don't know what you were doing, but my sister and I, we stopped whatever we were doing because that was her signal. Now, yeah, sometimes she just had something in her throat and we would stop and we're looking at her like, what? And she's like, I had something in my throat. Okay, don't do that to us. We also have to have strategies that goes back to the process. All right. And consistency, our favorite word. Now, we're not going to do this. This was a little quiz, but yeah, if you want to really know more about supervision, you can go to Parenting911 on my YouTube channel, pull up supervision. It's going to walk you through supervision much, much more. All right. That little quiz went with it. But somebody mentioned conversation, how we have to make sure how we talk to them. All right. We model conversation. Now, I'm going to say this real quick and move on because I'm ready to pull up the guests. But please don't bark at your children. Sit down, shut up. What? No. That's barking. That is not communicating. And then they go to school and the teacher says, well, hello, will you please have a seat over there? And they're like, huh? Like what? I don't even know what that means. But if the teacher were to go, sit down, shut up, they get it. So do not bark at your children. Take the time to talk to them. That's where they learn how to have a conversation. That's how they even learn how to stick with the main topic. I've talked to children and they've talked about 15 different things in like 5 seconds. And I'm like, what are we talking about? All right. That's on us, parents. That's on us. All right. Well, moving on. As they get older, you're going to listen more. All right. You talk more when they're younger. You listen more as they grow up. All right. Because now you want to see what are they thinking, what's in their head. Oh, yeah. We talked about the effects. These are like side effects from medication. If you all pay attention, or you take the medication for one thing and then the side effects give you 15 more terrible things and you could die. All right. Yeah, that kind of thing. Side effects of cussing and fussing and yelling and screaming. I'm sorry, doc. I'm sorry. No. Okay. I have a doctor in here too. Two of them. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'll calm down. But remember, what we say is so important to our children. Here is a challenge. No more cussing. That really doesn't make your point. But if you want to make your point, speak softly. So they have to lean in and say, ma'am, sir, what'd you say? You now have their attention. All right.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
That last slide, does that mean like the fussing, yelling, and screaming and cussing leads to decreased communication in the end?
They decrease your communication. Guess what? They break your relationships apart with your children. Yes, ma'am. They increase your stress level, increase the children's stress level. So now the whole house is stressed. Increase the power struggle because you're just bumping heads, going back and forth. Increase the teacher's stress level too. All right. All right. Now we need rules. We need routines. Grab the book. It takes you to all of that. Consistent action creates consistent results. Just remember consistency. We're going to skip that slide. And right here, we get to the special guest. So our very first guest who is going to join me will be Mrs. Wendy Overstreet. And she, as I said earlier, is the guru when it comes to pre-K. Oh, come on, give her a hand. All right, so she is the guru. Let me turn this camera around so that everyone can see you.
All righty. Well, I'm gonna tell you up front, I'm not near as dynamic as she is. I am not known to be a public speaker, so I'm gonna do my best. And I'm just gonna kind of give you a little overview of who I am and where I come from in order to be able to give you some tips and tricks. I'm a mother of two boys, Andrew and Will, and Andrew just turned 30.
I taught Andrew in 5th grade. Oh my goodness.
We love Miss Frazelma. He got married in April, and my youngest is just turning 26, and he got married in July. So we had 2 weddings within 3 months. So my bank account is good. So I finally inherited the 2 girls that I have always wanted. And so they're off doing their thing, and they're very happy. I've been married to my husband for 32 years. And I graduated from Opelika High School and went to Auburn University, where I got an early childhood degree in education. And I went straight out of school to work at Jeter Primary for Opelika City Schools. And I taught kindergarten for 13 years and was approached by Betty Wingo about starting a pre-K for the school system. And at that point, I needed a change, but not a rock my world kind of change. And I thought, yeah, this will be great. And so I helped start the pre-K for Opelika City Schools. And I did that for 11 years. And I loved it. And the school system said, we just can't foot the bill for this anymore. And we're shutting it down. And we're putting you back. And I said, kindergarten. And they said, no, 1st grade. And my heart plummeted because I was like, I don't know anything about 1st grade. So survived 3 more years. And after that, I said, I'm out of here, because at that point I wasn't necessarily on the same page with the school system about what 1st graders, what the expectations for 1st graders should be versus what they thought they should be. And I thought I better go before they boot me. And so I retired after 27 and a half years. And I thought, I don't want anything else to do with education. I'm going to be a pharmacy tech. I teach kindergarten and pre-K because I don't know anything about math. And guess what's involved in pharmacy tech? Math. And I hated it. I mean, I hated it. And I was like, Lord, something has got to come, open the door, show me. And I got a call, and somebody had gotten a grant from the state of Alabama to start the pre-K down at the tracks at the depot, like First Class Pre-K Academy. And so they said, we need you to come on board. And I was like, I'm out of here. And I went, quit my job, didn't have a contract signed or anything, told the pharmacy, see ya, and went back to what I loved. And I was like, I am home. And so I did that for like 5 years, and I loved it. And then, the Lord said, nope, you're too comfortable. Let's start something else. And I'm like, Lord, I'm old. This is getting old, So started the pre-K for the school system, started the pre-K at the depot. And so now First Baptist Church of Opelika has decided to start an academy. First year out the door, and they called and they said, we need you to come because we hear you're great at starting. And I said, yeah, I can start, but I apparently am never going to finish. So walked away from a great job, a job that I loved. And I'm now teaching kindergarten, back to kindergarten again. And again, I love it. So education is in my bones. Been babysitting since I was little. So all that to say, anything that I have learned has never come from a workshop, has never come from somebody telling me, has never come from a book. It's definitely come from tried and true experience. Okay, so all that to say, I do have a little knowledge about where we're going today. But the one thing that I took to heart from one workshop that I went to was that children developed their foundational skills. They're done, those foundational skills, by 5. So whatever you have taught at home from birth to 5, that's ingrained. That's done. If you see later on that you need to change that, that's like trying to break a bad behavior, a bad habit, like trying to quit smoking. It is not easy because they've done that. And when that hit, that hit home because I'm going, wow. After 5, it's done. That doesn't mean educational skills. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to learn like they've learned everything by the time they're 5. But those foundational skills like social skills, communication skills, self-regulation skills, they're learned at 5. And 90% of what they learn by the time they're 5 is not something that you've told them, but what they see you do. So if you're at home on the computer, that's what they see. That's what they think. That's how you communicate. Behind the phone, behind the iPads, behind the, right. So as a parent of a young child, put the phones down and be present.
Wow.
It does not
You
take a
deserve
whole
that.
lot. It doesn't mean that you have to, have the most elaborate days planned. If it means that you're just curled up on the sofa and you are watching a movie, their favorite movie, it might be something that you hate, but if you're doing it and spending time with them, you're validating their worth. When you're looking them in the eye, when you're asking them questions, you're validating them as a person. If the only time that you are talking to them or communicating to them is when you're yelling at them to quit doing something, then that bad habit is clicked in their head as that's when she talks to me. When I'm doing something bad, she's going to acknowledge that I'm in the room. So what we need to start doing is we need to start doing the reinforcements early. And it might just be, she's over here, she's playing with her blocks and she cleans them up without you having to say clean them up. Then that needs to be a big celebration. I'm so thrilled. Yay. Let's go get ice cream. You don't have the money for ice cream? Let's go to the park. Hey, let's go take a walk. It can be something simple, but when you celebrate the positive,
yes, absolutely,
then that becomes the behavior they strive for. The other thing that I've noticed having talked to parents along the way is that parents nowadays are terrified of their children. They don't want their kids to be mad at them. Because somewhere down the line, that parent didn't get their validation. I don't want to yell at my child. I don't want them to get mad at me. I don't want them. Kids live for boundaries.
Absolutely.
If you have a boundary set, that gives them worth. My mama cares enough to say no. My mama cares enough to keep me safe. My mama cares enough about me to say no.
I'm going to add and daddy.
And daddy and grandparents.
And grandparents.
Everybody. So always, trying to say yes, 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 because you don't want them to get mad at you is doing more damage to that child than if you give them boundaries.
Absolutely.
And so I see this as a teacher in my class. I have boundaries in my room. This is it. And it's not. And if I have to fuss at a child, they might get upset. They might cry for about 2 seconds. And then they're going to come back and they'll say, you know what, Miss Overstreet, I love you. And I will give them the biggest hug and say, you know what, I love you too. I didn't like what you did, but I love you. And we're going to fix that, right? And then it's a yes, ma'am. And then we go about our business. And it doesn't become this great big thing. Okay. So there are a couple of things that you need in your tool belt as a parent that we need to work on with young kids. And one is we need to work on their initiative. Okay. Again, that means put away the iPads, put away the computers, put away the TV. Initiative. Let's try something new. I've never hiked at Chihuahua. Let's go hike. And you take your child and you go do something you haven't done, something they haven't done, because what you're showing them is that it's okay to try. We may not be great at it, but we're going to try it and we're going to fail together, or we're going to succeed together. Okay. And then teaching them to stick with a task if it's too hard. You know,
Oh, wow.
they'll start to build with blocks and it falls over 10 times. I can't do that. And then they get mad and they throw the blocks and they go everywhere and they walk away. And what you need to do as a parent, you need to say, no, come back. Let's look at this. Now, I noticed that these blocks on the bottom were too close together. What do you think is going to happen if we move it apart? And then you sit down and you work through that together, that initiative, that persistence to get through things that are not going the way they want them, when we're not going to pitch a temper tantrum and we're just going to figure it out. And then that kind of works into when they get older, because then they're persistent to learn a new skill for a job, you know, that they want this promotion. They know they got to do this. Instead of saying, well, I can't do that, you know, they're gonna try.
Absolutely.
You know, so what we do with 5-year-olds that looks like playing or, you know, being silly will carry over to those high school years. So initiative is one thing. Then the other thing is self-regulation. Okay. Self-regulation, everybody thinks, oh, that means like controlling your emotions. Well, that's part of it. That's part of it. But it also helps them to pay attention. That's the easy thing. And that's great for teachers because they want them to pay attention. You know, they want you to pay attention to you. It helps with taking turns. Play a board game. I get to go. You get to go. I get to go. You get to go. It isn't all about you. You
That's
know,
right.
The world does not revolve around you. There are other people. So you are teaching them early on that you have to kind of give and take and give and take. And a board game is a perfect way to do that. And also it helps show them patience. Like you might get sidetracked. I got to stir dinner and you leave the game and they're waiting on you and they're like, you know, but you're teaching them that it doesn't always just keep going, that sometimes you have to stop and then you're going to come back to it. And that patience then carries over into how they react to a situation. Are they patient in it, or are they just a gut reaction carrying, you know, full-blown temper tantrum? So again, all of those things kind of carry over into high school years. If they're in a class that's boring, or you're in a speaker that's speaking and it's kind of boring, then you're still going to pay attention. You're looking, and they're going to keep trying. You know, that's kind of one of those things. If somebody upsets them, or they're going to have patience when it comes to reacting to them. All right. The key part of this in the self-regulation is what I call, you got to name it to tame it. That's when you have that conversation, when they have a big emotion because it's not their turn and they want to go and sit down and talk to them about it. What your feeling is, and here, this is what we're going to do to fix that. And now they have it in their brain what it is that they're dealing with. It's not just something that's rolling around and they think nobody understands. You got to name it to tame it. All the behaviors, you got to name it to tame it. If they're upset about this, talk about it, explain it, name it to tame it. You can draw it in when you do that. Okay. Most everything that I was going to say, she's already said. Consistency. You know, set those rules. Bedtime is at 7:00. Regardless. Every night it's 7:00. Your favorite show comes on at 7:00. Sorry, DVR it. We're going to bed at 7:00. But then that can be used as a reward for something that they've done. You know, hey, I really, really liked the way you played with your friends today and didn't get in a fight. You know what? I'm going to give you 5 extra minutes tonight before we go to bed. Then that becomes a reward, but you're still consistent and they know. The other thing about little ones too is warnings, signals, giving them a heads up about what's about to come, changes in schedules, changes in routine, changes in whatever. Let them know.
Yes.
And my oldest son, he has Tourette's. And the biggest thing about his Tourette's is that he has to process ahead of time. He has to work through that more so than the normal person in order to not have a meltdown.
Let me jump right there. So this is the child that I taught. And because she came to me at the beginning of the year and informed me, I already knew. Okay.
Right.
You don't need to surprise the teacher. Let the teacher know what's going on with your children.
That's
Okay,
it.
and so she
Yeah.
came to me, so I already knew.
Yeah.
Therefore, I watched because what I needed to know with him is what triggered it. Guess what? A test triggered it. He was like one of the smartest children in my class. Now he knew he was going to make a 100 on the test, but it still triggered it.
So pop quizzes were not good for my child at all because he did not have time to process anything. So yeah, so 5-year-olds are basically the same way. They know they've learned this routine, and now you're saying, "Oh nope, sorry." 2 minutes into it, and they're like, "Ah, deer in headlights." You know, that's not how this works. But you can say, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna go out to eat tomorrow night with Grandma and Granddaddy, and we're not going until 8 o'clock. So we're gonna be a little
Change
late
the
getting home."
routines.
Right, we're gonna be a little late getting home. But when we come home, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get a bath. You're going to do this, and you're going to do this. They have a time to process that. And then that eliminates a lot of the discipline, a lot of the
That's
carrying
true.
on and the crying and the meltdowns and the yelling and the screaming, because they already know what's coming. Okay. So we talked about positive reinforcement, looking for the good. Don't always look for the bad.
So true.
Right. Natural consequences. Pick your battles. What's important? You know, if it's 59 degrees outside and you're leaving for school, but you know, because last week it's going to be 89 and your child doesn't want to wear a jacket, is it worth the meltdown before you go to school to make that child wear a jacket? No, but they're going to figure out when they get in the car and it's cold. Oh, I'm cold. Yo, I got on my coat. I'm so warm. Should have put your coat on. That's a natural consequence. Didn't lead to a big meltdown, but guess what? They're going to remember next time
To get their coat.
to get their coats. Okay. And then you got just, the logical consequences. You're going to do this or you're going to do this. And this is where another little quick tip, give them choices. Because at this age, they like choices. They want to be in charge. If they're doing something you don't like, then give them 2 choices. You can keep doing this or this is going to happen. But make those choices work for you. You can clean up your room and
Absolutely.
keep playing,
Absolutely.
or you can go to your room and sit down. Either way works for me, but they're choosing. So the meltdowns then again are less.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Great job.
Thank
Great job. Look, she jumped and ran away from the pen. Ran away from it. All right. All right. Our very next guest then is Mrs. Tiffany Lewis, and she is a master teacher. Oh, yeah, she is. Most definitely. Most definitely. All right. So give us a little bit about you.
All right.
Then jump in with tips and
Okay.
strategies and hacks.
All right. So you want a PowerPoint?
Oh, yeah. You
It's
do have a
little flow. It's a
PowerPoint.
little flow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thank you. I needed that. I forgot. All right.
That's good. You stay right there.
Stay right there. Sorry.
There we go. Okay. Hello, everybody. All right. I may be a little bit silly, and that's because I'm usually a nervous person. I used to say shy, but I was told, don't say you're shy, Okay. It's great that you all came out today. What you see ahead is it's a journey. I might be hearing the word not taking a shortcut. It's a process, and it builds character. And then I teach at Talent, so I'm gonna give a little bit about myself real quick. On one word we like to say down there is the middle school. They like to say progress over perfection. So I like that. What you see is going to be a little roll. I'm not going to be before you long. I have a few little tidbits. I'm Tiffany Lewis. I'm a wife. I'm a 3rd grade teacher. This is my 10th year teaching. Shout out to my 12th grade class. We'll be graduating this year. So my first class will be graduating.
Wonderful.
Yes, it's been a long time. I like that some of them still come back to see me at open house. I was Miss Grant back then. Miss Grant. Okay. That's a horizon that you see right there. And you just have to know that what's past that horizon, you may not see it, but there's a process to it. So I have 6 children. I said 6. Currently. I have a 16-year-old daughter, 6-year-old son. I think he's a genius. I really do. No, people say that children are smart, but I really do think he's got something there. Then I have a 5-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. Yep, twins. Yep. And then I have a almost 2-year-old son, and then I have a 9-month-old son. He's a weeble wobble right now because he's taking steps. So shout out to little Navi. And what I want to tell you is that most of what I've learned, and she said there's experiences, most of what I've learned is not because I'm a teacher. People say, oh, your kids are smart because you're a teacher. Before I started teaching, my daughter was very smart as well. It's because of the time I took in the car. I'm a very busy parent. So I'm going to talk about shortcuts and how it can be meaningful
Yes,
through a process, because I'm on the road all the time. I walked in here on time today, so I'm proud of myself.
And actually, you walked in by yourself. I expected for at least 5 of the children to be with you.
Today's a vacation. It's a vacation. Okay, it's a little vacation for me. So what I put it this way. I'm on the road all the time. So besides teaching, I bring a lot of my work home with me. I'm grading. This year, I'm fortunate to just have 24 students, which is bigger than the previous years. But so anytime I'm grading, there's a whole lot into that. When I get home, my kids have a process. They're supposed to walk in and put their backpack right against the wall. Then they're supposed to take their water bottles and go put them on the kitchen counter. Do they do it every day? No. With some of them that's disciplined enough where they tell the other one do it. Yes. All right. But I'm going to work with the 16-year-old, the 6-year-old, and the twins every day. You know how you want to have your peace before you walk in at work. If you're like me, you want your peace before you get to work. So I'm going to work with my kids every day, 5 days a week. Okay? And they get loud. Some of them want to take off seatbelts. They want to go diving across each other. So I'm getting somewhere here. I'm like, what is this? And you try to get, okay. All right. And then you want to come home with peace as well. And I'm coming back home every single day with 4 children. I said, something got to change. So I'm coming home. Then I meet my spouse, and then I'm just like, okay. Then I don't have time, and then they got to get homework. Okay. So I was just like, you know what? I got to do something. So while listening to me, you just heard a little bit. I'm a teacher, but besides that, I'm a mother of 6. I'm a very busy mother of 6. I'm also a pastor's wife. That's a lot. Every now and then I tutor students as far as Australia. Shout out to Peyton. All right. But how do I take the time? Show you a shortcut. I call the hacks shortcuts.
Yes.
That's my thing. Go ahead and go to the next. This is my family. It's my beautiful husband. At that picture right there, my Navi was in my tummy. So I put him a little picture over to the side. It's a lot. That picture right there took a lot. It took the act of God. I'm talking about leaves blowing. For some of them, you just say, oh, okay. Wait on the breeze. When we say 3, 1, 2, 3, you smile, and then the wind is going to blow, and then you go grab some leaves. Okay. All right. So that's a good picture right there. All right. Go ahead to the next one. What I want to say is, this is, when all my children get together, I'll say when all God's children get together, what a time. When all my children get together, what a mess it could be. And then I try to keep from exploding. So we're going to get into a little bit of, go ahead. So sometimes I'm in the car, this little hack, and they're loud. Be quiet. I said, be quiet. I'm driving. I don't want to, have an accident. And then they have the nerve to take off the seatbelt. So what I've learned, this is this year, this summer. This has been a friend of mine. Just imagine this being the rearview mirror. Okay. This is going to become one of your best friends. And one of the works you can't see behind that, because that's a presentation.
I'm going to show you while you do that, so they can see you.
All right. So one of the words you can't see up there is ma. The word is ma. You're going to hear a lot of times mama, sometimes dad, but I'm using ma on purpose.
Okay.
The M is for mirror. All right. And using your rearview mirror, I like to write something on there that we're going to look forward to in the video. So this week, all right, y'all, we're going to go get ice cream on Friday. I want some ice cream too. Okay. There was a new little shop open. I want my ice cream.
So I write ice cream at the bottom of the mirror. Nothing too big, just a little ice cream at the bottom, all capital letters. Because I'm screaming ice cream, you know. I scream, you scream, we all scream ice cream.
Yeah.
All right. So it's at the very bottom of the mirror, not taking, it's not distracting me. It's just right there. Instead of me looking in the mirror, I see you back there, sit down. Nope. Everybody's seated. And I let them know before we get started, we're about to go. You're going to be quiet. You can sing. We can talk to each other. But we're not going to take off our seatbelts. We're not going to dive across the seats. And if you do that, we're going to lose a letter. If all of these letters stay on the mirror by Friday after school, we'll go get some ice cream. That's a new little shop open. We'll go get some ice cream. Wow. And I don't play with them. Okay. As soon as they say, but you said, it's right up there. Boom.
Wipe off a
Now
letter.
I have my twin little boy. He gets kind of overstimulated from seeing that. And he just go, and then the other two like, shh, Judah, be quiet. Judah, be quiet. She right here. And I said, here's another one.
Take off another
I take
letter.
off another one. I said, shh, now it's time to be quiet. And the rest of the letters will stay. Not only is putting this on here, it's showing them, hey, I keep messing up.
That's a good little hack.
It's on them to keep the letters, not on me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first week I did this, I didn't do give backs. On my oldest one, who calls himself the genius, he literally does, and he calls himself Sonny because he's the fastest thing alive. Hey, he said, well, Mama, can you do what my teacher does and give us a letter back?
Ah.
I said, no, sir. I know. I said, no, sir. No, I can't do that this week, son. I said, you all have to show me because y'all have really been weighing on Mama. I'm not gonna give a give back, not yet, until you show me that you've learned. Okay. He said, yes, ma'am. He sat back. He didn't argue with me. My middle son, he's fine. Now, there was a time when they lost all of these so quick. We was on the second day, and they lost so many. And we got down to this, and here's another good thing. They see the word ice cream. I separated it on purpose because ice cream is not a compound word. It's two separate words. All right. And then one little boy said, we only have ice left. And Judah said, that's not ice. And he wondering how it spelled ice because he's still learning how to read. All of my children know how to read before they were in pre-K. Judah's still learning, but he's on his way. So he go, why does that say ice? So this helps with learning.
Yes.
So then Josh, my genius, is like, because you know, CE makes the soft sound. It's soft. It's the soft C sound. So it sounds like S. So it's ice. And Judah learned. Okay.
Wow.
So not only does it help with that, you got your letters, you're erasing. So it's discipline at the same time. Now that week, felt a little sorry for him because I wanted some of that ice cream too. And we got down to the letter I, and it stood there. And that Friday, I kind of was a little lenient, but I said, y'all were about to erase it, and they would sit, they would be calm. And then we went and got ice cream the next week. But that was expensive because I went to a shop. You have to do it within your budget. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
The next week I said, you know what? Taco Bell from 2 to 5, everybody, 2 to 5. They have $1 for the slushies, okay? I'm on the budget. So I wrote slushies. My recommendation is to always do something that is at least 5 letters for every day of the week. Possibly more for your warnings. You can get shorter depending on how your level of discipline as you progress. Okay. Now, discipline is a thing. Consistency is a thing for me. It's hard to stay consistent for me just because we're all over the place. But using this, something so easy to put up there.
Yes.
I put it up there on Sunday, and it's ready for Monday morning. Okay. So we did slushes the next week within budget. The next week we did, I think we did playground. So they had a lot of letters, but I wasn't playing that week, okay? So this is one of your best friends. So M is for mirror. This is like your rear view mirror, okay? All right, we can go to the next one if it's over there.
Have to pull it back up.
There we go.
All right,
Go
and it's
ahead.
for mirror.
All right, and then the A in Ma is for art. Now, this is for those people who you're normally, your kids like technology. We're in a technological society. My kids love technology. Now, we bought them all the little Android tablets. We didn't have iPad money. We buy them all tablets. And what we've noticed is, the doctors say, don't let them watch, don't screen time for over 30 minutes. We see the science behind it. Well, we're just like, learning something. Well, when our children get on the tablets, and they all have their tablet. Well, one tablet dies, this one crying. This one want to take that one tablet. This one's mad that he took his tablet, so this one want to throw that one's tablet. We're not going to have that. So we take all of their tablets. And then sometimes we have the tablet and they're playing on them. We're like, well, we don't really want them to do all the games. And they get so caught up in it. And we notice when they don't have the tablets, they can't communicate well. They're taking things from each other. They're not listening to me. So art helps with that. So if you want your child to keep a tablet over the 30 minutes, what helps is art. We do at our home something called How to Draw. How to Draw. And it's on YouTube. There's other sites for it too. But it teaches them how to draw any kind of character. Now, this is the hack we have. If they have the iPad or the tablet, and we go past time, you want to keep a tablet, this is what you're going to do now. You're going to go to YouTube. Everybody's going to do how to draw. You can pick whatever you want to. My youngest, the twin girl, she likes to do how to draw flowers. Okay. And she's going to color everything with an ombre and rainbow. She's going to do it good. And then the other two boys like superheroes. Now, the twin boy, he's not so good at drawing. Okay. He's awesome with math. And my oldest boy, he's phenomenal. This has been a growth moment for him. Drawing helps with spatial ability. Okay. It helps them with listening skills because they're telling them what to do. And they have to be able to put the pencil on the paper and apply what they've heard. It helps with their social skills because one thing we noticed, like they would fight over stuff, but when they were drawing, the only time they would say, wait, it's going too fast. And then the older would say, shh, hold on, we can stop it. We can pause it. And because he started reading early, we can resume this later.
Oh.
I'm serious. We can resume this later. And then, of course, Judith's like, what does resume mean? But it's a learning thing. So if you expose your children, I know we have the thing about tablets and devices, it's bad for them, but it can be used for good. And this is one hack that I like to use is using How to Draw. And so that was the A for ice cream. I will go back to my rearview mirror because some of you may have children is what do you do when that no longer works? Because like I said, I don't have doctor from my name. I don't have letters trailing me. But 1 week,
you have mom.
I have mom in front of my name. But what I did notice is 1 week, the letters wasn't working. And it was only one child, it's my Judah Bob. It's the one who wasn't doing right. Everybody else, we're good. We're listening. We want peace. Because I know at the end of the week, we're going to have something. We're going to have our surprise. We're going to make it to the treasure box. They get treasure box in the teacher classroom. They get life experiences with mama. Okay? So, what do? I took Judah Bob, the one who always got something to say, the one who cries as soon as I erase a letter. And then the other two got to get them together. I said, what we're going to do, you have 5 chances this week. And I just wrote a number on the board, on the little rearview mirror. 5 chances. Every single time he did something wrong, I said, Judah, I'm going to add a tally. Now wait, just add a tally mark. But something happened differently this time. He didn't go, he noticed, it was just on him. He was the only one that was changing the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But as long as I erased like this, it was everybody. And he didn't care. He cared, but he didn't care enough. But it was just him. He could see it. I better stop. So I changed the way I did it just for him that week. And then I went back to the overall. So those are just a little bit of hacks that I have. I don't have much more, but I have more. I put it that way. But if I share the rest of them with y'all have to buy a book from me.
Exactly.
I just want to say that may your days ahead while on the road with your children be peaceful, and thank you for your time and your attention.
Good job. Good job. Anybody have a question? All right, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that was amazing. Now look, she was the first one I invited because we had a conversation. She started telling me about this rearview mirror business. I went, hold on, wait. I need a speaker. We're talking about tips for discipline and consequences. I need for you to share that with the world, And so that's how we started picking up speakers, and she was the first one. All right, now we're gonna go virtually, and we will pull up Mrs. Rogers. All right, there she is. All right, Mrs. Rogers. So now we've talked about the toddlers, the kindergartners. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. All right, excellent. We talked about the elementary children, where we're ready to get into some preteens and some teens. All right, and we want some tips and hacks on how to discipline them. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I'll put up, some fingers, because you're the math teacher. That means that's all you have left when I start. Yeah, okay. And those balloons won't be flying like that. Okay. All right, we're ready.
Hello, everyone. I'm Janerica Rogers. Excuse me. I've been teaching now. This is my 10th year, always in middle school. Only, we're middle and secondary certified, but I love middle school students. 7th grade math. My children, my husband and I, we all live in South Carolina. My children have lived here all of their lives. I am from Alabama. Roll Tide. I have 5 children. I will say it louder. I don't care where you all are.
War Eagle. You all, this is my oldest daughter. Can't you tell? War Eagle. Move on.
All right. Well, I have 5 children. The oldest is daughter, 23. She has a learning disability, but she is a soldier, and her husband are stationed in San Antonio. And then the next one is 22. Daughter, she actually just came home to surprise me from college, and I was happy. She made me smile. She's at the College of Charleston. She is an education major. She wants to be a middle school math teacher. I don't know what's wrong with her. I tried to discourage her. She didn't listen. And she's also in the National Guard. And then I've got a 19-year-old son. He's the only boy. He's in the middle. He just graduated from high school last year. He's working, doing well. He and his sister went out because she hadn't been home in a while. And then, like the last speaker, I have twin daughters. Well, I have twins, but they're both girls, 13, and so they go to school with me every day. They're in the 8th grade. They are in all honors classes, very smart. They make good grades. This year was the first. Well, this report card was the first time they've ever made a B. And they were a little stressed out, but it's an honors class. And I told them, when you see your results, it will either that's the best you can do, or you'll work harder, one or the other. So I didn't do anything. They wanted me to take them out of the class, but that's not good discipline. So people don't understand. Well, that's why you should listen to me. But besides that, if you are listening to the parenting coach, then guess who was well parented? This guy. All right. She is an excellent supervisor. Okay. She models very well. She always has all of my life. And I always called her mean. She's not a sweet lady. She's a caring woman, but she's not a sweet person. That's not who she is. But she's very passionate about structure. And I didn't get very many spankings as a child, and it wasn't because I was a good child. I was pretty good overall, but I knew who I had to deal with. And my children, I think they kind of respond the same way. If trouble approaches them, they know they have to deal with me. So as a kid, mother did all kinds of hacks, because even though we didn't call it that back in the 80s, you didn't call it hacks. You're just doing whatever you had to do. The one thing that I learned from her was parenting. I know we say it's a job, but when you call something a job, it has a negative connotation. Parenting is not a job. It's your responsibility and duty. And we as parents have to be active. That's the one thing that is it harms middle school students. So let's talk about them. Those are the most dramatic, whiny, crybabyist, attitudey. They love drama. They talk too much. They are so emotionally unstable. It is unrealistic. You have no idea how many different emotions go through one kid in my classroom at one given time in the day, and then they mad at you. I didn't do anything, but they mad at me anyway because I don't buy into the foolery. And now you're not talking to me, like that's gonna hurt my feelings. Okay, I got 100 and some kids. Somebody else will talk to me. And then that afternoon when they pass by, you go home. Bye, Miss Rogers, like nothing else happened. Okay, so those of you who have preteens and teenagers, I said so. I'm trying to get on a little soapbox because I love that phrase. I say it all the time. But I only say I said so when I have already explained to you the reason behind my actions and my choices. You already know the process. You know how to stay on the path. You know the consequences. You know the punishments. You know the rewards. You know the benefits. You know it all. So if you ask me again, why? It's because I said so. I've previously told you. Okay. The one thing that I know that we have to do with teenagers is this is for every parent, but consistency is so crazy. So the consistency that you use with, as soon as they're developmentally ready to start learning, communicating verbally, that consistency is foundational and so integral when they get to this stage, because once they get into middle school, it's the pre-stage for what they think life is, because that's high school. Okay. Once they get to high school, they're close to adulthood. Whatever preferences, their personality, all of those things have already been established. So middle school they are still very malleable in middle school. So you're able to, they're not so naive as elementary school, but they will listen if it's approached in the right way. So first of all, we have to be active. Driving in the car is not quiet time. It's any kind of time. Like she said, for them, it's maybe it's quiet time, maybe it's book reading time, because they know they shouldn't get in trouble so they can get a reward in the end. For me, I am not a morning person. I have one twin who's also not a talker. She gets to ride in the front seat in the morning because I don't really want to talk. And then she gets to play music. We communicate now. Okay, that's communication, because I know how to communicate with my child. I'm actively participating. The child who does like to talk morning, noon, and night, sleep, and doesn't matter, she sits in the back seat, but she is able to ride in the front seat in the afternoon and tell me all of the tea. I want to hear everybody's third girl. What happened today, Mama? Did you hear about the fight, girl? Yes, I did hear about the fight. But let me tell you what they said. I'm an active participant. I need for my child to know that there is nothing too big or too small that she can't talk to me about. Okay? I'm actively demonstrating Mama is always here, even if it's trivial. We can talk about chicken and collard greens. It doesn't matter. We can talk about whatever, because just because I'm not communicating with you verbally doesn't mean I'm not structuring you. She has to have her quiet time in the morning. She reads books. She sits in the back seat and she reads a book because she knows it's her quiet time. And then when the other one has to sit in the back seat in the afternoon, she gets a car seat easier. She goes to sleep. That's what she wants to do anyway. I'm actively paying attention to the different nuances and personalities of my behaviors of my children while all still being active. Okay, so we're at home. I don't like to cook. I love my husband, and that's one of his top threes, but I just hate it. So I'm really good at it, but I just really, really but then the quiet one, she likes to cook. Guess what? Baby, I will go to the store and buy it up. You understand me? Get in that kitchen. Mama, what do you want tonight? I want you to be creative. Then the other one is she's moral support. So she's playing music, they're doing homework, they are studying, and all I have to do is come in and out. Okay, that's a long list of things, but I started with consistency. I don't do threats. If you don't, mm-mm, mm-mm, come here. Come here now. My oldest children, now they're adults, so they think that, you push the envelope a little bit and they play with me a little too much, and then they'll hit me and then run. That doesn't exist as a child, not with me. And so you don't run, you take off running, and I'm not running after you, but you have to come back. So now my older children, they'll hit and run, and then they'll all just stop, just be like, you just gonna call me to come back, and I'm gonna have to come back. You know why you know that? Because I was consistent in the process of discipline with you. I don't make threats, and I try to remember that discipline is a process and punishment is not. It is a part of the process, but it's definitely not my first go-to. Okay, not a punishment. Your bedtime is 8:30. If I tell you to go to bed at 8:15, that's not really a punishment, but a child sees it that way. If you don't clean this room like I told you to, because somebody said earlier, you when you show a child how to do something, like how do they know how to keep doing it? Why do they have to do it that way? They got to do it the way you tell them to do it, because you are the supervisor, you are the modeler. You can have uniqueness and creativity once you're an adult and you are the consumer and the proprietor, the owner of all of this right here. But when you instruct a child, not only do you have to be consistent in the process of instructing, you have to be consistent in what you tell them to do. So if you want them to do this thing this way today, tomorrow, it better be the same way. And make a mistake. I told my children the other day, the twins, I told them one of them I can't remember, that they could take a walk or something. And then the next day when they were supposed to do it, one girl was sick and another girl took up for, did some extra chores. And so I told her, okay, tomorrow you're going to take up for her and, you got to reciprocate. And so then when tomorrow came, I thought that one of them had done something to the other twins. So I said, no, you don't get that, because that was, it was compensation for something that you did. And she was like, so I said, no, you can't do it now. Now you got to do your own chores. And they were like, but Mama, yesterday you said that if, and so we went through the whole process. Look, you can make mistakes as a parent. She went through the whole process and she was like, I did this, I did that, but you told her to take a break and she didn't feel good. So she went to sleep and she slept all night. Oh, now I know the information as a parent. Okay, I made a mistake. I'm still going to be consistent. You're right. I can change it at any point based on your behavior. But if I have the wrong information, then it's perfectly okay. Okay, you're right. I apologize. We're going to go back to what I said, and I had the wrong information. We're still on the same path. Okay. You're not. It's not that you're not going to make a mistake. It's not that you're not going to forget something. You still have to be consistent with the type of modeling and with whatever structure you start with. You have to stick with. So I don't make threats. That's one thing that I don't do. And one thing that I do is I create buy-in. Children are just like any other people. First of all, they love structure.
Mm-hmm.
You would not believe how many students bring me snacks during the week, or gifts for Christmas, or candy, or their parents want to donate to something just because, and I don't even teach these children. Okay. But because I create buy-in with children, all children, not just my children, I create buy-in with my students as well. When you create buy-in with them, they're more apt. It benefits both of them, and they have no idea that they're buying into their own future. Okay. So if you want to give a child a reward, what I do with my children is I ask them what they want. What kind of reward is it that you want? Okay. Now I'm going to buy in a lot of different ways. I'm going to create your buy-in a lot of different ways. You and her have to have a conversation. quietly, like normal people, right? You have to, though you're twins and you act a lot alike and you still physically can't control your body movements and they all look alike, you still do have your thought processes are different. So now you've got to communicate with each other, come up with something that you both feel like is equally beneficial. Because I want to know the whole plan. I need to know what you want to do. It may be something big, it may be something small. If it's a big thing, I tell you, we can afford, this much. Tell me what that is, and then tell me the things that you're willing to do. You already know you have to do chores. That's a standard. That's not that's non-negotiable here at the Rogers family's house. You have to do chores, but what are you willing to do for a reward that will benefit you, but the behavior is you helping to teach yourself discipline. So that's one thing. I like to create buy-in by allowing them to choose what they're going to do or what they, what reward they want to have. That works out better than me coming up with something, because not only did you choose the place, you're working hard because this is something you want to do. You picked it. All I have to do is pay attention to your behaviors, make sure that, whatever the agreement was, you stuck with it. I observed, because I have to be active. If I'm not active, I don't know if you are sticking to the plan or not. I still have to be an active parent. I listen to all of the crazy stuff. I talk to them about all kinds of things. That's another thing. I talk to my daughters about everything. We had a life-changing experience, and I kind of didn't want them to feel isolated, neglected, abandoned. So I opened up to them about a lot of things, and I want them to talk to me. Now, you still know that the structure is I'm your mother. Yeah, you got that. But aside from that, you of course you're going to be respectful. But yeah, I talk to them about almost everything because I want them to feel safe. Children, though, that age group of kids don't open up to parents. They don't open up to adults because they don't feel safe. They feel like back in the day when people used to say, a kid would say, my back hurts, and the older person said, you don't have a back, you got a gristle, something like that. That's how. And I feel like, I do have things that I'm going through. I do have things that are affecting me on a daily basis. You may not think that they're important, but at my age, they're important to me. And so if nobody listens, that what other outlet do I have? That's a lot of that. We as parents can prevent a lot of misbehaviors at home and at school.
Wow.
Just active parents.
Oh, that was good. That was good. That was good. Excellent. Any questions, anybody? That was good. I love the buy-in part. The buy-in was excellent. And so when I'm telling parents about consequences, the thing I say is let them help you choose what those are going to be, the positives and the negatives, but let them buy in. So that was excellent. All right. We have our last guest for the evening. We saved him the best for last. Come on. So welcome, Mr. Willie Willis. All right, he is going to talk a little bit about special needs. All right. Yes, sir. Tell us a little bit about you, and then you take us home. We have the last 19 minutes are yours.
Just about covered everything. So my name is Willie Willis, and I have been teaching for 21 years. This is my 22nd year. First year at Opelika City Schools, I work at the Learning Center. If you have a child that's K through 2 and they have some type of issue, have to end up at the alternative school, most likely they will run across me or come in contact with me at some point. I am Tier 3 instructor there, which means if your child is sent to the alternative school for over 10 days and they're in grade K, kindergarten, first or second, I'll be their teacher until they, while they're there. I I only have one son. I'm married. My wife Tawana, and I have a son, Devin. But I have a lot of experience because I've been having kids attached to me for the last 21 years.
Yes.
I got this job here at the Learning Center, and I was like, man, I've been teaching a while, but what am I going to do, to help get these kids on track? So I had to do some thinking, I had to do some research, and I had to do call on my experience. I had to call on my days in college because I don't have a big fancy bunch of letters in front of my name either. But I just look at things kind of logically. When you want a behavior to, when you reward a behavior, it will go up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you punish a behavior, it will go down.
Mm-hmm.
So I start thinking about B.F. Skinner, who was a sociologist in the 30s, 1930s, and his operant learning. And that's what I basically use every day over at the Learning Center when I deal with my kids. Now, if I want a behavior to go up, I can use either positive reinforcement
Mm-hmm.
or I can use negative reinforcement. So if they're doing something that I desire and I want them to do, then I just give them positive reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
I can praise them. I can give them a pat on the back, clap the hands,
Mm-hmm.
give them some type of token, anything that will make them want to do
Continue. Mm-hmm.
that positive behavior over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and parents, you can do the same thing at home. It tends to work better with smaller kids, and that's why I prefer working with kindergartners, first graders, second graders, even third graders. Or you can also make a behavior go up or increase with negative reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's negative reinforcement? Well, just say we'll use homework as the thing. So going back to the positive reinforcement, if I want them to do their homework, I can give them some type of token and they'll do the homework. Hopefully they'll want to do it over and over. If I want them to do the homework, but I use a negative reinforcement, I can say when you use positive reinforcement, you're giving something, adding something.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're using negative reinforcement, you're taking something away.
Mm-hmm.
So just say, okay, you do your homework today, you won't have to wash those dishes or you won't have to do your chores.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking away
Mm-hmm.
the negative stimulus, which is maybe doing chores or washing dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they will want to do their homework more, so they won't have to do the thing that's undesirable.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So on the other hand, if you can make a behavior decrease by using positive punishment.
Mm.
And people say positive punishment. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but what positive punishment is what everybody knows about this. You don't do your homework, you don't get a spanking.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually using some type of physical thing, stimulus to decrease a behavior, make it go away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not telling anybody to go home and spank your kids, because that's not what I'm saying. But it can make a behavior decrease.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can use a negative punishment.
Mm-hmm.
And a negative punishment is like when you do time out. You take away something a child really likes or really desires. You take it away and it hopes that they will, I want my cell phone, I want this. So I'm gonna do my homework, so my folks won't take it away.
Mm-hmm.
But punishment happens after after something has occurred. You give the punishment after whatever the behavior is. Punishment comes after that has already happened and passed.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the kind of things that I kind of use at my job. I had to come up with some kind of strategy. I had to come up with some kind of plan. These folks said, "Oh, you talking? We're gonna have Willie Willis. He can get them kids in line." But I still had to have something concrete that I could use that I thought would work.
That's right.
So my first
That's
case,
right.
when I first got the job, I had to deal with a kindergartner who had oppositional defiance disorder. He did not want to do nothing that he was told to do. That was the blessing for me because I was able to use all of this stuff that they tell us in college. I had opportunity to use it on a daily basis, to try it and to see if it would work. But my biggest thing I had to do was be consistent. So I had this little boy, he wasn't used to being in a school setting. So I had to show him and model to him what he was supposed to do every day. First, you come in, you hang up your book bag, you go to your desk, you get your lunch stick, put it in the little container so your teacher know if you're gonna have eat at school or if you brought a home lunch. Then you had to go to circle time. He didn't want to sit at circle time, so I had to make him sit at circle time. And then and I would use some of those reinforcements to kind of help him out. Like,
You have a question too now.
okay.
Oh, I have not tried. I have a 5-year-old who was diagnosed with separation anxiety. She's got severe pipe. She's got ADHD and then maybe autism. Everything that I have tried to teach her, like, oh Lord, and she is so bad at home. Discipline and taking stuff from her. Nothing is working for her. And I don't know. I got her in mental health. And then she has to wear glasses too, because she can't see.
And does she attend Opelika City School, or is she?
She did for
Okay. And I do know the behavioral specialist that will probably work with her. But if just I'll talk to you after this, and I can give you some
Absolutely.
some suggestions, also some contacts, and so we could try to get you the help you need. But when it comes to stuff like taking things from them, it has to be something that they really like or something that they really care about.
That's right.
Even with the punishment thing, you're like, I'm going to send you to your room. Some kids may like to go to that room.
So
They
that
might not
doesn't
see
work.
it as a punishment.
That's right.
So it depends on what, it varies from child to child, and it just depends on whatever the punishment is or whatever the thing that you may be taking from them, or even when you're giving it to them. And then it also depends on the occurrence, how frequently you do what you do. And because for instance, if you give them a reward for every little thing they do, homework reward, after a while they become what they call extinct. It becomes extinct. It's not a big deal to them anymore because they're so used to doing
They're
it.
immune to
So
it.
you have to look at the variable of the frequency of whatever reinforcement you're doing. And it could be the frequency, it could be the ratio, like how many times, like you do this 3 times and then you get a reward, or like one of the biggest things to help you to understand is like Christmas. You be good all year, and then on Christmas Day you get all the things you want for Christmas. That's like you're doing the variable ratio. Like you do this thing is be good for so long, and then at the end your big payoff is Christmas Day. You get all the things that you want. But if you I don't really have any tricks, but I have put to practice some of the things that I learned in school, some of the things that I've tried in my classroom. And then I'm really appreciative of the position I have now because I get to actually test a lot of the strategies that I've learned. I have kids that are really have some big challenges, you know, that they are dealing with. And there's really no book out there for real that's the perfect thing for whatever issue we can give. You just have to keep trying. Build a relationship with the child. That's going to make you care enough about them to do what you need to do to make sure that they grow up and do what they need to do. But I noticed when I first started this position, once I build that relationship with them, listen to them, let them explain to me, you know, or tell me what they were feeling, and you know, things like that, they were more apt to do what I needed them to do.
Right.
So that's very important. Talking to them, building some type of having conversation with kids. I mean, it's really important.
Absolutely.
Building that relationship and helping them to listening to their concerns. Just like your daughter said, even though I don't really, like I said, it's really easy with the kids, the smaller kids, but when you go to getting with, you know, doing the bigger kids, it can be a little more challenging. I'll put it like this: I don't have as much experience with those, but that's all I really have.
Any other questions? There's one.
Question, like my son, he's out there, but he's been diagnosed with ADHD and ODD. I'm having some of the same exact issues with him too.
Okay.
And he goes to GEER. He's in second grade at GEER.
Okay.
Like he's already been warned about if he said something in school, he's gonna come to y'all's your
School.
Right. Right.
And I probably.
So look, I might need to talk to you after.
That's it.
Okay,
And that's
that'd
what
be
I was
fine.
going to say. This is great because yes, he will be here hopefully for a few minutes and he can answer direct questions.
He keeps peeking in the window.
Yeah.
He wants to know what we're saying in here. That's why.
And then he's also gonna have a psych evaluation done and an autism testing, but the place that's gonna do it, they can't get him in for the testing till February, and he already goes to Integra Mental Health, and he sees a psychiatrist there, and he's seeing the school-based therapist. It's like none of this stuff is like I'm at my wit's end with him. Like especially like that week for children, like in the morning trying to get him ready for school. It's like all he wants to do is lollygag and play around instead of he knows what he's got to do in the mornings.
Right.
Instead of doing what he knows, he don't want to do what he.
Well.
And trying to get that through his head, then he has tantrums and starts screaming in the floor and carrying on. And I'm like, I end up having to walk off.
Yeah.
Or either I have to end up practice as last resort. And then that makes it even worse.
I got it. So,
Yeah.
well, being a teacher of this 10 years, I'm gonna be honest with you. I guess the amount of years I've taught, I have seen an increase in, I guess, we say mental health or behavior issues. And we all say, where's in the food? Where's in what they're watching? I don't know. But what I do know is, recently, I think past 2 years, I've worked with some children who were diagnosed with ODD. And we had behavior specialists come in. But one thing I use for one little boy in my classroom is you can say it could be on the board to do this and do that and do that. Right? He's gonna do the opposite of what's been said. And it's like if you praise him,
because like the teacher he
you don't want
had
to be
this year,
praised.
he's had so many issues with since the 1st of October with his teacher in the class. Like I've been up to the school about twice this month of October just for all the issues he's been having.
Yeah, it takes some adjusting, especially when you have a lot of other students in the classroom too. But I say like this one particular student, he don't want to be praised for doing, if he was doing something, he don't want to be praised for it. What I had to notice, I had to put it in leadership.
Yeah.
I didn't take anything away. I don't know that what we can do. I had to do reinforcement.
Yes.
Because I think reinforcement is doing it before, and the punishment is doing it after. I was doing that.
Yes.
My reinforcement was like, okay, well, he didn't want to be praised for doing good. He didn't want to even be seen. But then
Right.
he will fall out, and everybody see when you do that. So like, what is this? And then you know what? I was just like, what you want to do that? And I talked to him just like that because it's what he got at home. What you want to do that? And I would give it to him just like he got it to get his attention. He was like, "Oh, my teacher talk very nice to everybody else, but not me." I was talking. I said, "What you want to do?" He said, well, "I'm gonna teach." I said, "Well, you gonna teach today?" Okay. And so we would get up and I said, "You gonna go ahead and you gonna be the board. You gonna handle all that." He can handle it. But that was the piece I had in class when I was picking the battles that I had. Now, I can't say that for every teacher, but
That's right.
that's a, you know, that's a learned thing, and it's something trying to, like you said about caring for them. They won't care what you gotta say to them until they know you care.
That's right.
That's
And
true.
then, like I said, trying to get to their getting on their level, but a lot of times they're like, there's so much already going on, and the teacher may not know how to come to that level because of everything else that's going on. So
That's
they
right.
basically just
Yeah.
Because I know they've done PST testing on him at the school. They're supposed to meet next week to work toward getting him like a 504. Because he ain't got no like they said he don't need an IEP because his learning's good, but then they're gonna work toward a 504, I think.
Yeah, sometimes it might be just the behavior or something else that may have an adverse effect on their learning. So, you know, they may give you something like a 504, something that, you know, to try to help get that regulated so they can, you know, learn what they need to learn in the classroom. There's, you know, you just have to try stuff
That's it.
and
That's
and
really
see,
it.
and then some things will work on some kids that
And it
might not
won't work on another. That's right.
But build a relationship with them.
Mhm.
Have enough love in here
Mhm.
to do what you need to do, because eventually something
Will
will work, or
absolutely.
you know, and do something, because doing that, at least if you do something, that'll be better
You're
than
trying.
if you
Yeah.
don't do anything at all.
Exactly. All right.
TV way, the tablet way, and it's like he's like, oh, I don't care. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe you can earn the TV if you do so and so. And then like I let him watch so much, and then getting him off of it, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yes. Well, just like the pre-K lady talked about, once those the pre is it the pre-operational or no state, I forget the exact stage, but once they get to 5, you know, it's with kids, you can't wait
That's
till
right.
it gets so far before you want to try to do something, because if you do, it's going to be harder to get the results that you need.
Right.
Just like she was saying, 5 year old, and then, you know, after about 5 years, when everything starts setting in, they call it the concrete stage. Like concrete gets hard and solidifies, it's there.
That's right.
You got to, you know, kind of start early. It's hard, but it still can be done.
It can be done.
They
That's
still
right.
can be taught how to self-regulate
Absolutely.
their behavior and their emotions, and do what they need to do to be successful in school.
And it also teaches,
he doesn't know how to self-regulate his emotions and like all that stuff.
but it also teaches you as the parent, because see, as you're trying to figure it out, you will learn exactly like what works for him, what doesn't, you know, so it's a learning curve on both ends for him and for you.
Because at least if you have a good, you conversate with them and get to really know
That's
them,
right.
build that relationship, they will kind of give you some
They
kind
tell
of
you, that's
hints
right.
of what they like or
And don't.
like, and what might work and won't
And
work,
what won't.
work.
That's right.
That'll kind of
That's
cut
right.
down some of your frustration, because you can go
Exactly.
and hit the things that really, you know, that's going to make a
Exactly.
difference with them.
Exactly. All right, so let's give a hand to Mr. Willis. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everyone. We have had our Citywide Parenting 911 session for the month of November. Remember, we are here every first Saturday of each month, 3 o'clock. Come and join us. We talk about real parenting issues. We talk about real parenting issues. We are here to help. 911 just means help. So we are the help for parents. You can go to www.parenting911 You can set up a meeting with me. Let's talk about what the real issues are. So here's a challenge for everybody, in person and online. I want you all to, on Facebook, Parenting911, give me every parenting question you can think of. Because what I want to do is do at least 100 quick videos answering your questions. Parenting911, go to Facebook, fill it up with real questions. How do I do this? What about this? When does this happen? What do I think? Give me the real questions, because I want to do at least 100 videos answering them. All right. Thank you all. Remember, this is Frazelma Lynn with Parenting911.org.